You may have heard of the ancient Greek proverb, know thyself. And when you reflect on know thyself, you might be thinking about your strengths, your weaknesses, what you like, what you dislike, really your inherent personality, that which defines you. When I think of this, I'm actually reminded of something that happened to me about 10 years ago. I attended Vipassana meditation at North Fork, California, near Yosemite. And part of the meditation was to find the reality for yourself. And that's what I want to talk about today. As much of a proponent I am for meditation, and you know I am, this is not about meditation to help you find focus. This is about finding the reality for yourself to then drive your actions and ultimately lead a more empowered life. The first thing I want to talk about is how are you in terms of how you work, how you live, how you react? So, for example, I know certain things about myself. I know after a certain time in the night, I'm not effective. Like after 10, 11, I just don't do well. And I'm no longer the early riser that I used to be. Probably back in college or even after college, I could get up at 6 or 7 and get started with work. But now I can't. Now I try to work between 10 to 9 or 10 o'clock at night, obviously taking breaks in between. So finding the reality for ourselves. What works for you? What is your mode of working? Before the pandemic, I realized that sitting at home wasn't very effective. And so I would go to the nearest coffee shop and I would sit for 2 hours and I would get so much work done. That was such a productive 2 hour block of period. I would put on my headphones and the slight bit of noise with the coffee shop people walking in, people walking out, people ordering actually was very beneficial for me because I like that little bit of disturbance. So that is the reality for me. I actually work well going to a coffee shop in perhaps 2 hour blocks. I think we need adequate breaks. I found that the 2 hour period works well. And I would get so much work done and then I would take a break and get back to it a little bit later. So look at your own work style and find the reality that works for you. And for you, it might be that peak time between 8 to 10 in the morning is highly effective for you. And so you want to maximize that time. You want to minimize the distractions that you have during your 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. time period. So finding the reality for you in your environment is my first lesson. The second thing is what we're seeing with social media and listening to lots of people, we are noticing there's a romanticism about success. So on social media, you see people being successful and you want to emulate Jeff Bezos and Steve Jobs and all these other guys. And what we see is a very romantic view of their success, right? Even with celebrities getting famous after one movie, we see a very romantic, idealistic view of their success. We never see the countless hours and hours of reciting lines at a studio. We never see the weeks and months and years that Bezos put into his work before he became successful. So we see this very romantic success, and then we think, man, success is going to immediately jump at me without any effort or without any difficulty, without any challenge. And so it's a very romantic view of success. So as we start a new project or a new goal or a new endeavor, there will be resistance that you experience. And natural tendencies to avoid resistance, to go away from it. Go watch Netflix. There's no resistance when you watch Netflix. There's no resistance eating junk food. There's no resistance streaming shows or scrolling on the internet. So the natural tendency is to resist. We have to fight through that, right? We have to continue through that, nudging closer each day. And so being uncomfortable with the discomfort is the next thing I want to talk to you about, the focus. The successful people are not overnight successes. They deal with the discomfort every single day and they just power through it. And so getting comfortable mentally with the discomfort, finding that point where, you know what, I need to write this book. I'm going to do 1 page today, and fall in love with that process of writing, that process of working. So those are the two things I wanted to share today, is finding the reality for you in your environment, and then becoming uncomfortable with the uncomfortable, with the discomfort. So working to those two things will really increase your focus and help you lead a more empowered life.